In 1788, France was broke, not struggling, not cutting back, broke. The government had spent decades funding foreign wars, building palaces and keeping a royal court so expensive it made modern billionaires look frugal. They had tried everything to fix it, new taxes, new loans, new ministers. Nothing worked. King Louis XVI had one last idea: call a meeting. In 1789, 97% of France had zero political power, so they broke into a tennis court and started a revolution. The Estates General hadn't met in 175 years. Three social classes: the clergy, the nobility, and the third estate: merchants, lawyers, peasants, literally everyone else. They arrived with a list of grievances the length of a small novel: higher wages, lower bread prices, a proper say in how the country was run. Louis looked at their demands, then handed all the voting power to the clergy and nobility anyway. The Third Estate walked out, declared themselves a national assembly, the voice of the French people. The king had locked their usual hall, so they found an indoor tennis court nearby, crammed themselves inside, and swore an oath not to leave until France had a proper constitution. That oath ended a monarchy. This is the part where the sneeze comes in. The man who killed 27,000 people only became famous because he couldn't stop sneezing. His name was Maximilien Robespierre, a lawyer from a small northern town, quiet, precise, obsessively neat. He had arrived at the Estates General as a minor delegate nobody had heard of. He was also severely allergic to something in that tennis court. During one of the early sessions, in front of the entire assembly, Robespierre had a violent sneezing fit, so disruptive that the speaker had to pause proceedings. Every head in the room turned to look at him. A journalist covering the assembly noted the moment and wrote that this strange, sneezing young lawyer then spoke with remarkable precision and fire. The article ran the next morning. Robespierre became briefly famous. Journalists started covering his speeches. The public started listening. Within 2 years, he was the most powerful man in France. The Bastille fell in July 1789. The king was forced back to Paris. The old order collapsed faster than anyone could control, and Robespierre, the sneezing lawyer nobody had noticed, was now steering the revolution. He called himself the Incorruptible. He believed completely in virtue, equality, and the revolution. He also believed that anyone who disagreed with him was an enemy of the people. Robespierre spent a year executing everyone he didn't trust. Then his friends realized they were next. Between September 1793 and July 1794, his Committee of Public Safety executed 17,000 people. Officially, historians estimate another 10,000 died in prison awaiting trial: former allies, moderate Republicans, priests, nobles. Eventually, anyone Robespierre simply didn't like. The guillotine ran every day. Paris smelled of blood. They called it the Reign of Terror. And then his colleagues, finally terrified they were next on the list, had him arrested. On the 28th of July 1794, Robespierre was guillotined on the same square where he had watched so many others die. He was 36 years old. France stumbled on for another decade, burned through governments, until a short Corsican general named Napoleon simply took over and declared himself emperor. France had executed its king, abolished the monarchy, proclaimed a republic, survived a reign of terror, and ended up with an emperor anyway. And somewhere, at the beginning of all of it, A nervous young lawyer sneezed at the wrong moment, got noticed, rose to absolute power, and took 27,000 people down with him when he fell. History doesn't care about grand plans. It cares about who gets noticed